For years now, social media platforms have been trading on a lie that they're the same as any other company. Typical traditional businesses, they have products and they have customers. And social media has been trying to sell us on the idea that we, the user, are their customer. But typically, in order to be a customer, you have to pay something to do that. In the social media ecosystem, the only thing we pay is our time. So it's essentially free. We're not paying any money. So we are not the customer of social media. And when we're not the customer, we don't get to have a say in how a company is run because there's no consequence for losing us. There's another billion or million of us right around the corner that a social media company can scoop up. So we have no recourse to hold them accountable to how they're using our information and how they're using the data that they're collecting about us. And I think that's a really ethical gray area. When I think about it, it doesn't make me feel good about how these types of companies treat us, the user. Social media, like I had said, wants us to think that we are their customer, but they're not a traditional business at all. They don't act like any business that's ever existed before they came onto the scene. So the customer of social media is, the customer of any type of company is the one who is paying them monetarily. It's how they're making money, right? It's a transaction. We go out, we buy a cheeseburger, that's a good that we buy, and the restaurant gets to make money off of the service they provide there. Social media doesn't take any revenue from us directly, the users. So their money has to come from somewhere. And we all are kind of familiar with where that comes from. They come from the advertiser. But that means the advertiser is the customer, which makes us something different entirely. So we're the product. Traditionally, advertisers didn't get access to this multitude of data about their users. They had to put up a billboard and hope that one of their customers who was in the market for their products saw that billboard. Or they had to put up a commercial on TV and hope again that one of their customers that was in the market for their product saw the commercial on the evening news or something like that. Nowadays, we can be targeted so minutely about things we follow and groups we follow. That makes us not the customer, which means we don't have as much power because we can't take our dollar elsewhere. We never put our dollar anywhere. We're the products that social media platforms are putting on the shelves. And that makes us being bought and sold. So the longer they can keep us there with algorithms and with enticing games and with little quizzes and stuff like that, the longer they have the opportunity to make a dollar or a penny off of us. And a penny times a billion in a day turns out to be a heck of a lot of revenue. Social media platforms have little to no transparency. They don't explain to us what data they're collecting, how they're utilizing that, what they're selling, who they're selling it to, and that should cause a great deal of mistrust in our minds towards social media platforms. We should be questioning if it's something we even want to do. Imagine if you went to a restaurant and they didn't tell you what they put into the food or where they sourced certain ingredients from, and there was a big question of if that was safe, or drug companies, if they didn't kind of tell you the side effects that were potential there. That's exactly what social media companies are doing. They're saying, here, eat this, eat from my table, and then they don't tell you what the potential side effects are, and they don't tell you where they're getting what they're giving back to you. So that's a real concern. And then there's the ethical considerations of how they treat their users. They have little to no respect for their users because they deal in a quantity over quality type of business plan and business model. So They don't care if one user falls off, but it would take a great exodus of users in order for these social media platforms to start to get concerned, because a couple 100,000 doesn't make a difference. So they've been operating in this gray area for years, and I think it's probably time for a change. Nyched, I know on its face, looks like another social media platform, but it's a new type of thing. And this is a huge part of why it's a new type of thing, because I made a conscious effort, because I didn't think it was ethical to do otherwise, to make you my customer, or at least give you the opportunity to be my customer. One of the biggest things I did was I created a subscription tier, so a paid tier of user, and I put a reward system into Nyched so that I could give more rewards to the customers of mine who are actually paying. Now, money in and of itself doesn't make me care about my users' opinions and my customers, but it does make it a lot more difficult for someone to ignore a person who's giving you money as a company from a business perspective. Second, I put in a reward system so that your subscription gets you something more. And that reward system allows you to do more things in the app. It allows you to post more. It allows you to comment more. And in the future, there will be other things that you can spend that in-app reward on. I took away the algorithm. And the reason for this is it's a lot harder to track what someone's doing on something if there isn't a program doing the tracking. So if there's no programmatic tracking being done to serve you up, quote unquote, better content, then I get to put the power into your own hands. In order to do that, I needed to add another layer of customization, another layer of functionality. And that's where niches come into play. Niches are overarching topics that you get to interact with. You put them on your posts, and everyone puts them, at least one on each post. And this gives you the ability as the user to block out certain niches that you don't want to interact with. Giving you the ability to control your online experience is a huge step in shifting you away from being the product and putting you in the driver's seat and making you my customer. And that was something that was really important to me. Giving you the user ability and the filters and the controls so that you were able to make decisions for yourself, and not some Wizard of Oz type guy behind the curtain making decisions, or some program making decisions behind the scenes. When I talk about these things with others, a lot of times they'll say, well, why can't social media just do this on their own? And really it's because they're entrenched in the way they're doing things already. Think about it. Do you think they'll ever give up the algorithm? Do you think they'll give up advertisers? You know, in terms of daily users on platforms and in terms of ad revenue, they don't make a whole heck of a lot off of us in the year. It's about $60. So they could theoretically offer a subscription, but it wouldn't be any better. They'd be double dipping. They'd be getting money from the subscribers, and then they'd be getting money from the advertisers. And since they've worked for so long with just the advertisers, the subscribers are going to be second-tier citizens. They're not going to have as big of a say because the advertisers have more buying power typically. Human interaction platforms are a great alternative to social media platforms, and it's not just a clever rebranding. I've outlined some of the things here, but if you're interested to learn more, check out this video on human interaction platforms. I think it's a better solution. I think it's a more symbiotic relationship between computer programs and human beings. And really, at the end of the day, that's what it's about for me. It's about the human factor. It's about the human being factor and the interactions we get to have with one another, and not the strife and the difficulty that we feel at times with the platforms, and if we even want to use them or be on them, or the frustration that we feel. My hope is that in the future, Nyched isn't the only human interaction platform that's out there. My hope is that there's a plethora of options and not just a monopoly on the whole platform idea, giving us a space to interact with each other. And I think the future is bright. I think people are starting to get sick and tired of the old school dinosaur social media platform where we're treated like cattle and we're sold off to the highest bidder. So I'm optimistic. I hope you are too. And I hope you consider joining these types of platforms. I can't do this without you. Nyched will be nothing if there aren't any users and customers to help bring it along to be something that's popular. So I want to thank you for watching, and I want to thank you for being here. And I hope we can get more people involved and more people on board with the idea of Nyched and other human interaction platforms, because social media, they're dinosaurs at this point. We don't need them anymore. Nyched is the world's first human interaction platform, and it is totally within your control. To learn more, go to beta.nyched.com. And if you like this video, or you have an idea, put it down in the comments below, like the video, do those types of things, and stay tuned for the next video. It's coming up right now.